And the cat's already gotten disgusted with me and left. So here we are. Okay. And I say that because we are starting a new book today. Let's do the housekeeping. And all the housekeeping is me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. Get you one email a week, tells you what's going on for the week and the month, and the hot links are hot. So click here now means it. It is also a blind CC, which means nobody will see your email. So hopefully you think it's worth the risk. And then I mentioned the social media merely from the standpoint of we do not monetize the social media. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So we ask you instead, go like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you're on, and then engage with the individual post by reacting, commenting, and sharing. Bumps us in the algorithms. Okay, now, so I have 2 copies of this book because I have this copy, which is the Penguin Archer, the Archer Penguin, or Tarcher Penguin edition, which they changed the name of to the Hidden Power of the Bible. I also have an original, because originally it was called The Bible in Light of Religious Science, which is a very long title for, say. But this, I'm going with this edition because for 2 reasons. One, most likely most people probably have this edition. And 2, the print in this one is better. The other one is it was made by a company that finds old books that are arguably out of print, and they literally photocopy it and rebind it. So I did not know that they were the same book until Jesse told me that. Now, we are going to do the preface today, and one of the reasons why I'm mentioning that is because our dear beloved Reverend Jesse wrote the preface to this edition. So we are going to do that. So I'm grateful that he told me that, because this one's going to be a whole lot easier to read than the other one. So let's get started, because that is what we are going to do, is the preface for today. It is fairly long. You're probably not going to get a whole lot of commentary, but this is the preface to the Tarcher Penguin edition. Every religion has its exoteric and esoteric, outer and inner aspects. In religious practice, the exoteric is the body of rote and ritual, done singly or with others, whereas the esoteric is in everything that happens within the participants. The relationship between the two is the same as that between a map and a journey, or between a lecture on happiness and being genuinely happy, which is a really good. Singing a hymn is an exoteric activity. Loving or hating that hymn, or dissolving into tears at the dawning awareness of the presence of the deity, is a possible hymn-driven esoteric response. Utterly unpredictable, the esoteric event of being swept up in a wave of spiritual feeling and intimate self-awareness may accompany or follow some act of spiritual discipline, or may suddenly appear from nowhere. The way characters apparate every now and then around in Harry Potter. All right, Jesse's read Harry Potter. Good to know. Which I haven't, so I don't actually know what that means. Okay then. I just never got around to it. People whose spiritual lives are punctuated by esoteric moments cannot just turn off what they have felt and know, nor can they satisfactorily explain it to themselves. That is the mystical experience. Yep. Much less to anyone else. Thus, religion's esoteric core has built a reputation for secrecy. This is a clever diversionary tactic. It isn't so much that such things should not be talked about among the rote-bound profane. It is that they cannot be. There are literally no words to describe them, for they are glimpses of the infinite around which no circle can be drawn. Though esotericism is typically handled like a controlled substance by Western religion, every enduring formal religious practice was cast in place because at some time somebody received a new and life-altering insight into the heart of timeless reality while reciting those words or consecrating that host or sitting in that asana. Centuries along, the ascendant may have been lost as practices become engaged for tradition's sake and nothing more. Still, at this very moment, somebody saying a familiar prayer abruptly becomes that prayer and its answer. All of this occurring so immediately and so completely that a new state of consciousness feels like the only one ever inhabited. This is the truth of esoteric experience. When asked by the king to get on with summarizing his mathematical theory, Euclid responded, "There is no royal road to geometry. Nothing happens without investment in the self. Grasp the point and it can then extend to a line, then a plane, then a solid. Put another way, only the mind moves. Maps and lectures suggest actions they themselves cannot take, as do our world's volumes of sacred laws." There is no road to the attainment of goals or peace of mind or anything else that does not lead through the self. We often wish somebody else could take us where we want to go. Discovering they cannot, we dismiss them and hunt for another. This book's author, Ernest Holmes, detected a deeper current in life and ultimately founded a new religion based on it. He did so after insisting for years that the world had an ample supply of wisdom traditions, ready and waiting to be used, and pointed out that the same truths could be found in any of them, if one would only look. The Judeo-Christian Bible has never lifted a spirit. Those countless spirits have lifted themselves by contemplating biblical meanings and their application, prying themselves out of the submergence in evident mortality and meaninglessness, lifting up inner eyes unto the hills as an achievement of belief, the result of thought uniting with emotion. The Bible itself is a sometime historical record woven together with myth, legend, hyperbole, civic ordinances, genealogy, military strategy, a lot of political maneuvering, some romance, much brutality, and probably most of all, hope for a better world, with empathetic ideas on how to go about building one. For practical reasons, if none other, it is the most significant work ever compiled, the most exquisite illustration ever rendered of a world long past that nevertheless mirrors our own, and that from the standpoint of collective consciousness, subtly, sometimes not so subtly, influences everyone's thinking, even those who would deny its existence. Whew. Okay. In this interpretation of the Bible by Ernest Holmes, there are certain things you will not find, which you should probably note. If you are familiar with Bible exegesis, Holmes' contents here are of the interior type. That is, they lead in rather than out. Holmes did not read Greek, Hebrew, or Aramaic. He possessed no seminary credentials or much in the way of formal education. He was deeply interested in the Bible, but also in the Vedas, the Gathas, and the Avastas, and the Gnostic trove found during his lifetime at Nag Hammadi. What's more, he was a ferocious student of life, and particularly of what people thought and felt and cared about. And he saw commonality in human hopes and dreams that determined him to spend his life exploring how best those dreams might be realized. This led him to piece together a philosophy he called the science of mind, a correlation of the laws of science, opinion of philosophy, and revelations of religion, applied to the needs and aspirations of humankind. You needed an elevator speech about what science of mind was? Jesse just gave it to you right there. A correlation of the laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to the needs and aspiration of humanity. This philosophy has quietly helped shape the body of work we know as the human potential movement. Holmes' leading into approach to scripture subjectively engulfs the reader. At every turn, it invites us to wonder what a passage might mean to us personally, rather than being told what it must mean to everybody. Well, that's really good. That is really good. Which is 9/10 of my beef with the Catholic Church. You're sitting there telling me what it should mean, and I'm going, yeah, but not to me. Okay. Holmes' contemporary, Charles Fillmore, a teacher and philosopher who co-founded the Unity movement, did the same, taking the names of the 12 disciples and extracting a particular spiritual quality and moral lesson from each, which he offered up as food for thought. Emma Curtis Hopkins, of whom both Fillmore and Holmes were briefly students, also did this with the 12 precious gems that adorn the foundation of Jerusalem's walls in the book of Revelation. All three teachers speculated about meanings to be found in the number 12. None of this is to say that Holmes lacked a decisive position. His was simply this: God is all there is. Therefore, we are each made up of God. Our suffering derives from a sense of separation from our source, which boils down to misdirected belief. Holmes taught that prayer, in faith believing, i.e., believing that something will absolutely happen, is the means to restore our sense of oneness with our Creator and thereby with all creation. You won't be far into this book when you realize that the hidden power of the Bible is not ultimately about the Bible, nor is it hidden, but rather exists in plain view for those who endeavor to see. It is definitely power through your power and my power to enhance the quality of our own lives and each other's lives and our planetary life by coming home to ourselves, using the Bible's record of unfolding awareness as a working tool in the rebuilding and beautification of our own inner temple. May you greatly enjoy and richly benefit from the undertaking. Jesse Jennings. So, that is the preface to The Hidden Power of the Bible. And what we will do tomorrow is the foreword, which is written by Ernest himself. And then once we get through that, there's my bookmark. They'll get a little shorter because one of the reasons why I picked this is he has fairly short articles. So we can get through an article a day. And then however long it takes us to get through this book. So that is what is going on. But I do need to wrap this up. So I hope you will enjoy the journey with me with The Hidden Power of the Bible by Ernest Holmes. That is what we are going to be doing for the next couple or several months. I don't know how long it'll take us to get through it. But now I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a hey, you got this day, a take care of business day, a let's start wrapping this week up day, a be aware of the heat day, a drink plenty of water day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a do something just for yourself day, a make sure you make time to sit down and rest day, an eat something amazing day, a don't forget that meeting you've got tonight day, a good day, and if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, an absolutely beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And, as Reverend Jesse likes to call it, you are a godling. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible, because all the divine knows is good. All right? That's the good news. All right, beloveds. Reverend David will be on sometime this afternoon. I will be back with you tomorrow. And like I said, we will do the foreword, which is written by Ernest Holmes. And then we will enjoy our journey through the hidden power of the Bible. So take care of yourself. Know that you are loved always. And I will see you next time.